Life in a world that keeps changing. Think that it's progress you're making. Copy and paste pretty faces all the time. Pictures so perfect we play.
Hello everyone, welcome to Anointed Lady TV, the home of news and politics. If it is your first time in this channel, you are highly welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you like what we do on this channel, hit on the subscribe button. Also put on the notification bell so you'll be notified by YouTube anytime we drop a new video. And if you are returning subscribers, thank you very much for always coming back to watch our videos. On this platform, we drop videos every day and we react to every video that come our way. And on this very video, I will be watching with you. And after watching, let's go to the comment section and drop our opinion constructively. Like our videos and also share our videos if possible. See you next time.
Never knowingly or unknowingly offered anybody £1. And I will not do so in order to become the president. I'm not saying I'm not going to spend money for campaign. I'm not going to say I'm not going to buy lunch for people and everything. But I've never, knowingly, in all my talks with Kwankwaso and anything, offered any money. The people who are funding me, I'm happy that I've actually set up a team to oversee all donations and support to our campaign, and that is headed by a number of people, and that's what brought our attention to what we're doing. I said I want it to be managed independent of me, so that those, I can't be talking about being transparent and managing public money without starting with my campaign. So I can tell you, as of today, nobody will say is the one funding Peter Obi.
Meanwhile, River State Governor Wike has pledged to support the presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People Party, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, with logistics for his campaign in the state. Wike, who invited the former Kano governor to inaugurate a road in the state, called Kwankwaso a friend and a man of integrity. Wike has also pledged support for the Labour Party's Peter Obi with logistics for his campaign and has hosted President Muhammadu Buhari and a former national chairman of the opposition All Progressive Congress, Adams Oshiomhole.
You are a man of integrity. It's unfortunate we're not in the same party, but God will help at the appropriate time. God will help. People like this are people that should talk about leadership of the country. Yes, I have no apologies to make to anybody. I said it to Peter Obi when he came. And I want to also tell you that if you are coming for campaign here, I will give you the logistic support for you to campaign.
We have seen people in my former party that all what they want is ticket, to get presidential ticket. They are ready to do anything to have ticket. I can tell you, as Governor Wike has been saying, any party that cannot control two of the three states, Kano, Lagos, and Rivers, he has been saying it, and people were not taking note of it. And by now, with Kwankwaso out of that party, Wike is still struggling to be there or not to be there. Somehow things are moving. Certainly Lagos is not their own. One begins to wonder where they will get their votes to win the election of 2023.
Still on politics, Igbo sociocultural organization Igbo Worldwide has endorsed the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, for the 2023 elections. The group says that going by the principle of rotation and zoning of political power in Nigeria, it is the turn of the Southeast to produce the next president. It says it's made its decision in its quest to find peace, unity, and sustainable national development. Ohaneze The Igbo Worldwide says Peter Obi represents generational hope, redemption, above all, the Igbo collective. Ayo.
Right. Okay. So interesting morning, as of course the next few days and months leading to 2023 will certainly be. First of all, Peter Obi's insert there talking about the fact that he'll be in charge and be held responsible, so can be held responsible for decisions, actions made if he does become president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, he made this statement as a guest of the Nigerian Guild of Editors Forum, where he talked about being present, being accountable, not giving excuses. He spoke to some critical, fundamental issues around foundational problem, borrowing for production, war on power, affirmative action, providing solutions, and then of course touched on the news that made headlines a few days back about him offering 40 billion naira to Rabiu Kokanso to become his vice. One of the things I must mention that perhaps we didn't quite see in that video, he said, was his talk about not needing a manifesto to bring in about the needed change. Of course, there's been a lot of talk around the manifesto of the Labour Party's candidate. What is he going to do? Outlining his plans for Nigeria if he does become president. He has spoken about this a number of times at meetings, in presentations. However, he hasn't given us a written document to hold him to account if he does become president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, I do understand on one hand why some people might be skeptical about the importance or power of a manifesto, bearing in mind that in previous governments, we have seen manifestos that haven't quite been done. So they become rhetoric, they become documents that are there to inspire people to vote, but not enough to hold them to account when they do get into office, and hence his talk around not needing one, but more about facing the issues. However, in real politics, in real governance, we do need a document to hold your government to account. We do need our leaders to become men or women of their words, whereby you state that you're going to do something, it's written down, and the people who elect you based on the issues, not around religious or ethnic sentiments, but around what you said you're going to do and your ability to actually doing it. So of course we're looking forward, which I'm sure he's going to provide to the manifesto, and very important that he's also debunked the news around him offering 40 billion naira to Kwakwanso. Now, moving on to Wike and logistics support. You know, I see this as the candidates. Wike is sitting in his court, and then the different candidates. The other day was Peter Obi, last week, Thursday, when he said he was also going to offer him logistics support, made headlines. A number of people criticized that statement, bearing in mind that his party, the PDP, has their own candidate who is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And here he is offering another candidate of another party, logistics support. And that also brings the question, what does Wike mean by logistics support? He clarified this again when Kwakwanso met with him, and he also promised him logistics support and said, well, as governor of Rivers State, if he comes into the state to campaign, he would offer him security, offer him vehicular support, and ideally, in an election, the governor of the state should be able to provide, principles like this with the needed security and support. However, it does beg the question that, with the news around this announcement, is there something more to logistics support? And how far would Wike go in is he spreading his tentacles? If Tinubu Asiwaju goes to see him in Port Harcourt, would he also offer him logistics support? And what does this do to the current state in the party? Also, just speaking to Ohaneze, I'm sure we'd have a deeper conversation around that. They're worldwide. Ohaneze, Igbo, endorsing Peter Obi as their candidate. Now, I'll just say one statement, and that is, we have criticized, or a number of people have had things to say about the presidential candidate of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, saying that one of the bases on which he has built his campaign is the famous slogan, Emiloko, meaning it is my turn, it is our turn. And now Ohaneze, Igbo have also come out to say it is our turn, zone it, let us zone it to the south, and the southeast haven't had an opportunity to lead in the last few elections. And so our local, in essence. Therefore, if we must criticize the basis on which the APC candidate has come out to throw his hat in the ring, or one of the reasons why he said you should vote for him, then we must also critically look at this statement by the Ohanaeze Ndigbo. However, I must mention that it's important to state that they also identified, and let me just say one statement from them to buttress the fact that beyond it being their turn, they've also mentioned that Peter Obi's merit, competence, a track record of accomplishments, and the veritable ideas that he espouses for a better Nigeria is one of the reasons why they're standing behind him.
All right, Dr. Bati.
Okay, let's start, Ayo, with where you left off with Peter Obi. There are two Ohanaeze Ndigbo groups out there. There's the Ohanaeze Ndigbo. There's also the Ohanaeze Ndigbo Worldwide. The Ohanaeze Ndigbo is the one that is led by Professor George Obiozor. Yesterday, at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, the Ohanaeze Ndigbo, led by Professor Obiozor, had this lecture on nationalism and nation building, delivered by Professor Jide Oshnokun. And then, of course, yesterday, we also had the statement from Ohanaeze Ndigbo Worldwide through the spokesperson, Dr. Alex Ogbonna. I hope I got the pronunciation correct. Previously, I had criticized that group that Ogbonna speaks for, for bringing deities in Mbise and Arochukwu into the matter. But there's no doubt that Mr. Peter Obi, the Labour Party candidate, enjoys enormous support, enthusiastic support, not just in the Southeast, among his own kith and kin, but across Nigeria. And what the Ohanaeze Ndigbo Worldwide, the Ogbonna faction, has done is to say that, look, this is a man that we believe in. This is, the Peter Obi phenomenon that they think every Igbo person should buy into. And they talked about his competence, his emphasis on character, his emphasis on productivity. And that to that extent, Ohanaeze Ndigbo Worldwide endorses Peter Obi. But it's not only Ohanaeze Ndigbo Worldwide that endorses Peter Obi. He has broad-based support. And that broad-based support is even indicated on the front page of this day newspaper this morning in one of the stories, where Pa Ayo Adebanjo, leader of Afenifere, insists that, look, from the point of view of equity, justice, and all of that, Peter Obi is the right person for the job, because it will not be fair to continue to marginalize Igbos. It will not be fair for Nigeria to continue to behave 50 years, more than 50 years after, as if the Civil War has not ended. And that the marginalization of Igbos is at the heart of the Nigerian question. So all these groups that support Peter Obi, they project him as a symbol of the need to address a sore point within the national question. That is that about that. Now, let's move on to his appearance yesterday at the Nigerian Guild of Editors. Well, I think that at the Nigerian Guild of Editors Forum, Mr. Peter Obi offered what could be considered an equivalent of a masterclass in leadership. Now, yes, it is true that he said he doesn't need a manifesto, where many people will not agree with him. Because when you have a manifesto, it's like defining your roadmap. It's like defining your contract with the people of Nigeria. It's like saying, this is what I want to do. And for a man who says he should be held responsible for whatever he does, he should be held accountable, then it's probably, a good idea to put everything down in black and white. However, anyone who has listened closely and attentively to Peter Obi will understand what his 7-point agenda, convey. And it's simply that, 1, he will run a lean government. 2, he will address security. He will move Nigeria from consumption to production. He will ensure accountability. He will place emphasis on competence, character, and integrity. He was also saying, and he has said so at many forums, that he doesn't think having fanciful certificates, is what exactly you need to provide leadership in Nigeria. But having a good heart and knowing that Nigeria just needs to move from where it is, from how it has been terribly mismanaged to another point. So these are some of the points he makes. He talked about fighting corruption. And he then, in some other ancillary moments, made the point that, look, he never offered Rabiu Kwankwanso, the presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, to be his running mate. And that is just pure fiction. So he has been consistent in terms of messaging, and he assured us at that Nigeria Guild of Editors Forum that the job of a leader is to provide solutions. It is not to keep complaining. And the reference is very clear. Those leaders who come, they say they want to lead Nigeria, but they spend half of the time just complaining. And Peter Obi says his own proposition is completely different. So I think it's again good, as we said, with regard to Kwankwanso, that he took the opportunity offered by the Nigeria Guild of Editors Forum to attend that event and to interact with editors. But I'm just hoping that one of the issues that came up yesterday was attendance, was the crowd, a large crowd that wanted to be part of that exercise. Maybe the Guild of Editors should begin to look at the possibility of having a bigger hall so that, some of these persons who would like to attend, apart from editors, journalists, maybe supporters of the candidate or even the opposition, will be given the opportunities in a larger space to be part of the conversation. I think that is very important. However, that was not the only event that Peter Obi attended yesterday. Yesterday was busy for him. He was also on the NTA program called The Candidates, where he had an encounter with our colleague, Kederia Ahmed, who is the anchor of that particular conversation. And again, Peter Obi was consistent in laying out his 7-point agenda. But we don't necessarily have to keep second-guessing him, because it's not everybody that will be as attentive as some other people are. So he still needs to come up with a manifesto, lay it all out, spell it all out, and then on the basis of that, we can continue to engage with him. Now, as for the man in Port Harcourt saying he will provide logistics for Kwankwanso, he will provide logistics for Peter Obi, well, it's very clear that the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, does not belong to anybody. He belongs everywhere. So he supports, today he supports NNPP. Tomorrow he says he's with, a friend of Peter Obi. I think Nyesom Wike alone knows the kind of game that he's playing. Whatever that game is, in the fullness of time, it will be very clear. And whatever that game is, we have been here. We have been in this space. Politicians, they come and go. Governors come and go. He will no longer be governor in May 2023. So what happens thereafter? Will he still be in a position to use the platform that he currently holds to play the kind of games that he plays? But to the extent that he tries to reach out, he preaches friendship, he preaches solidarity with other political parties. He says other political parties are welcome in Rivers State to campaign. I think that's something that we can comment. At least he does not block other presidential candidates from coming to his state. The only person he is blocking, ironically, instructively, is a presidential candidate of his own political party, the People's Democratic Party. But I hope if Atiku Abubakar goes to Port Harcourt to campaign, with the pattern that he has shown, he probably will not block him. But maybe Atiku Abubakar will not enjoy logistics, whatever that means.
Anyway, that's based on logistics, like the word of Big Brother winner, Efe. Based on logistics. You see, we have to really interrogate these logistics. And I think the greatest logistics Governor Wike can give is to reverse that draconian Executive Order 21. Some governors are overreaching themselves. Governor Soludo too was mentioned in this. Then the Zamfara governor, that one even went further at banning radio stations for collecting campaign materials from opposition party. Elder 21, as draconian as this, says that you have to take permission from the Commissioner of Education to be able to do any campaign office, open your campaign office. And I think you have to also pay some amount of money. Please, he must remember that time comes and goes in life. And because you are governor today doesn't mean you should impinge on the rights of others. The greatest logistics you can give, Governor Wike, is to allow a fair, level playing field for oppositions like Tonya Cole and Mr. Briggs and some other people campaigning in the states. I think that's the fairest amount of logistics you can give, because that's in tandem with the law. As the chief security officer of the state, you're supposed to provide security and fairness for all of them. And other state governors too involved. Please understand that you can't keep being draconian. Zamfara, Anambra State and everything. You can't keep being draconian to people that are coming to campaign. They have a right to come and campaign. And Dr. Abati, like you said, when you said time and seasons come and go, I remember the famous words of another Igbo to you that passed recently. J.P. Clark in his poem Stream Size Exchange. He says, riverbed, riverbed, sitting all day long on hook over grass, riverbed, riverbed, sing to me a song of all that past and say, will mother come back today? You shall not know and you should not bother. Time and seasons come, tides and seasons come and go, and so shall your mother. So time come and go. Today you will be governor, tomorrow you will be not. The question is, what will people say about you? Moving on to the Guild of Editors, Mr. Peter Obi had a good showing yesterday at the Guild of Editors. He was able to enunciate his thoughts. He was able to articulate his ideas by saying, I will take responsibility for everything possible as Commander-in-Chief. But the question is, there must be a document to hold you by. Yes, you've said many times that we should hold you by the things you say, but that's not good enough. We must have a working document, which is a contract with Nigerians. Your manifesto is a contract with Nigerians, and every politician must have that one way or the other. If you want to know, this culture started many years ago in a place called Runnymede, where the Magna Carta was signed in England between the king and the barons. That led to what is called Bill of Rights today. So your manifesto is like your contractual agreement with the people, where they can say, oh, you said you will do this. And if possible, if you put timelines to it, we'll be able to, inquire and say, Mr. Peter Obi, you said you would do this in the first 1 year. Have you done it? That's what they will judge us by. Because we thank God the APC gave us a manifesto in 2015. And that's why we can read out 62 promises that they made that they've not fulfilled till today. We thank God. If not for that manifesto, probably they'll say they didn't say anything. In fact, some things that were said in the campaign trail have been debunked. And that's why we need a level of accountability that cuts across all in this process. Endorsements comes political season based on the perception of those that are endorsing the people. But what is most important for me is the problem facing Nigerian people. The candidate that will endorse the problem and endorse solutions to the problem facing Nigerian people. And what are the problems? High inflation, over 20%. Nigerians are getting poorer by the day. A lack of accountability in governance. We all saw the story that broke, that the humanitarian minister, while talking to the Senate, said she was not aware that a budgetary provision of her ministry, the contract was inflated by about 10 times. Now we are asking, who do it? Who did it? Who didn't do it? And that's how we've always had contract scam in the country, at the expense of the suffering Nigerians. The fact that ASU is already saying they might go back on strike because agreements were not made. No pay, no work is still raging heavily. And these are the challenges. The fact that most Nigerians go to bed hungry. A lot of them now do 001. A lot of us those watching us today, probably they do 101 or 001. Zero means they don't have a meal at that time. 3 square meals has become a luxury. We are not saying one leader will solve all the problems, but at least we know that if we have a sense of leadership that can harness resources together, then possibilities abound. What Nigeria is not looking for, we are not looking for a miracle worker. All right? All we are looking for is somebody that has a good thinking cap on his head that will be able to solve the problems on ground and make the people work the miracles as regards productivity in their lives. And that's all the country is asking for this season. And it's not too much to ask for. So most importantly, the candidate that will endorse the problems of Nigeria and endorse the solutions to them are the candidates Nigerians are looking for. And that's why manifestos matter. At least let's see it. But that's all.
My people, as I tell una say I go come back, I don't come back. Una welcome back. How una see am? I want una leave una comment for the comment section there. Una tell me how una see the matter, whether it good or it bad. If it good, make una let me know. If it still bad, make una still let me know. Because me no fit, I no fit see am. Let me wash am alone. I need to bring am come give una wey be my people wey dey here. Make una follow me shook mouth put whether it dey good or it dey bad. So if it dey right, una still leave una comment below. If it dey bad, una still leave una comment below. Una remember say everybody gets freedom of speech. Okay, all right, thank you very much.